Muckluck here, and I don't like game reviews that take 20 minutes to give 5 minutes worth of information. This is Lost Eidolons Veil of the Witch, a single-player roguelite turn-based RPG. It is available on PC, PS5, and Xbox XS, and is rated T for teen. In full disclosure, I received this game for free as part of my work, but the goal of this review is to determine whether or not this game is worth its time and price tag for you. The game setting with no spoilers beyond the tutorial. If you don't want this part, skip to the next timestamp. The tutorial starts with you in darkness, speaking with a being of power. You choose if your character is male or female and their name. The default name is Ash. If you keep that, it shows up in voice-acted lines sometimes. If you use a different name, then the voice-acted lines will address you as your rank of captain instead. The being tells you that you died, or are about to, and that they want to use their power to send you back, as you being back helps their agenda as well. You make a spooky deal and wake up on a beach where a woman is fighting back undead. She is shocked to see that someone else survived the apparent shipwreck. You fight against the undead and get a combat tutorial, with you starting off with a greatsword and bow, and Evie, the woman, starting with a sword and board and her spellbook of holy magic. During the fight, a third character joins in, Marco, a bruiser-type melee character.
I'll handle the rabble. You kill the alchemist!
After the threat has passed and the adrenaline is crashing, your companions realize they weren't on the same side of the last war and tempers flare. You realize that your memory is missing.
You don't remember anything from before the shipwreck?
I don't even remember that.
All you have is a note in your pocket from a Carmen that says she hopes you found Silvio before it's too late. And this is where the story takes off, with you and your ragtag group crashed onto this land that clearly has an undead problem, and you trying to remember who you were before your near-death experience. General gameplay. You will arrive at a town that becomes your base of operations. Here you can spend many different currencies unlocked in your runs to get permanent bonuses that make your future runs easier. You can have conversations between any two members of your party, and as your members do more runs together, more conversations are unlocked. You will earn memory shards that can be spent in town to piece back together your fragmented memories and find out what led you here. Later in the game, you can also change your main character's class as they receive training from their teammates. Finally, you can pick which characters you will take with you on a run, up to 5 out of the 9 options once everyone is unlocked. On the run, you will encounter various obstacles and branches on the paths, and you can choose which paths you take, such as choosing more dangerous ones to farm up more levels for the run, or less dangerous ones if you need to recover. If you do land in a fight, you always go first, and control your team members in any order you wish. Once all have gone, the opponents will move all of their pieces. Each team member will have 2 weapon sets. For example, you start with a greatsword and a longbow, and it matters what you end your turn holding. If you end the turn with a greatsword in hand and you get hit during your opponent's turn by a melee attack, you can strike back. Alternatively, the bow can strike back at incoming ranged attackers. Each action you take will grant you experience, which in some cases you can milk this for extra early game levels. But there is a level cap you will always hit in your run, so you wouldn't just, for example, heal yourself for 30 minutes to hit level 100, but a few levels early on helps. As you gain levels on a run, you will get a pop-up giving options of what to unlock, giving either passive benefits or new powerful abilities. There's a massive pool of abilities for each of the characters, so you will often get different skills in each run. This game loop of paths on a road, events, and combats continues until you hit the boss of each chapter. These are very challenging fights the first few times you see them, and they have different movesets as well, so they can operate completely differently the next run. You also have a limited number of undos, which you can use in each battle, so if you take a turn and it ends up being a major mistake, you can undo it. Not showing the boss fights here for spoiler reasons. If you get past all of the acts and all of the bosses, and I won't say how long that is, you will win the run. And although the game will roll credits, I'll just say that there is a lot more content after the credits roll, so don't be fooled. If you win or fail a run, there will be cutscenes that end with you back in the town. There are lore reasons why, and you are level 1 again, but you keep any bonuses that you unlocked in the town though. Game length. Lost Eidolons Veil of the Witch took me about 34 hours of gameplay to reach the true ending. Comparisons to other games. The selection of paths to take was very similar to Inscription or Hades. The actual turn-based combat, though, felt more like Heroes of Might and Magic combat or an XCOM with less environmental effects. Details. The graphics. The characters and enemies have full 3D models in combat. You can rotate the camera around and see from all sides. In conversations, they have a few different portraits that the game swaps between based on their emotions at that time. Sound and music. The voice acting for all of the characters was fantastic and definitely a strong point.
Please, we need food and a place to rest.
Why the hell would you tell them that? They're clearly struggling enough as it is.
Damn straight. We've got enough mouths to feed already.
For example, it was fun experiencing the world building when Marco and Evie would bicker, as it would give you more context for what happened in these lands leading up to this point, as the two of them fought on opposite sides of a war. The music was upbeat and a nice jam with multiple tracks depending on the area or fight.
Ready.
Controls. Lost Eidolon Veil of the Witch can be played with a controller or with mouse and keyboard. I played it with mouse and keyboard and had no issues. Saving system. The game auto-saves when you enter a new room. For example, I once had a game crash and loaded back to the beginning of the fight that I had been in, so at most I only lost a few minutes. There is no manual saving. Content creator concerns. None. I streamed my entire playthrough on Twitch and YouTube and uploaded the entire thing to our Muckluck Plays YouTube channel and did not experience any muted VODs or have any issues with copyright claims. Do I have anything negative to say? I experienced one game crash during my time playing it, as mentioned earlier. It reloaded to the beginning of the fight I was in, so I only lost a couple of minutes of playtime, and one crash in 36 hours is certainly not the worst. The next point I'll be very careful to stay spoiler-free on. I played all the way until the true ending, and I got it, and I was left unfulfilled? I felt like the main issue you were trying to deal with the entire game was not resolved. You can get all of your memories back and learn your own backstory, which is a really nice tale with some very emotional moments, but I felt like the main antagonist was not dealt with, really? Perhaps they were leaving it open for a sequel? I'm not sure. Final thoughts. Lost Eidolons was a fun and very tactical turn-based game. It was quite challenging while I was getting the hang of it, and I had to use the undo feature quite a few times early on, but rarely after I got the hang of it. It had a good backstory and banter between the characters, although as mentioned before, the primary story of the main world felt like it needed more resolution, though I did enjoy it. The many characters, the many builds each character could have, and the multiple builds each boss could have kept things refreshing on my repeated runs as I pushed for the true ending. All of that combined with the fact that I got 37 hours out of it, and that it is not 100%ing it, that was just the amount of time it took me to get to the true ending, I felt it was indeed worth it, and was fairly priced. But what do you think? Hopefully now you have enough information to decide if Lost Eidolons Veil of the Witch is right for you. This video was not sponsored, so if you enjoyed it, please consider hitting that like button to help us out with the YouTube algorithm and subscribe for more content. If you'd like to see more of my own playthrough of Lost Eidolons Veil of the Witch, I'll include a link to that playlist from our other channel down below. Subscribe there too. As always, a massive thank you to our dear patrons who make content like this possible. If you'd like to become a supporter and earn early access, there is a link to that in the description. Happy gaming.